In software development, the term backend refers to the part of a software system or application that is responsible for handling the behind-the-scenes functionality and processing. It typically consists of server-side code, databases, and other components that are responsible for data storage, retrieval, and manipulation. The backend is responsible for managing data, processing requests from the client side, front end, and generating responses to be sent back to the client. It handles tasks such as data validation, business logic implementation, security, and integration with external services or APIs. Some common components and technologies used in backend development include server-side programming languages. These are programming languages such as Python, Java, Ruby, PHP, or Node.js, which are used to write the logic that runs on the server. Web frameworks. These are tools and libraries that provide a set of functions and utilities to simplify backend development. Examples include Django and Flask for Python, Ruby on Rails, Spring for Java, Laravel for PHP, and Express.js for Node.js. Databases. Backend systems often involve working with databases to store and retrieve data efficiently. Popular database systems include MySQL, PostgreSQL, MongoDB, and Redis. APIs, application programming interfaces. APIs allow different software applications to communicate and exchange data with each other. Backend developers may design and implement APIs to enable interactions with other systems or to expose functionality to client-side applications. Security. Backend development involves implementing various security measures to protect data and resources, such as authentication, authorization, encryption, and input validation. Overall, the backend serves as the foundation of a software application, supporting the core functionality and providing the necessary infrastructure for the front-end and user interactions. Here are some additional examples of backend development tasks and the programming languages commonly used for them. User authentication and authorization. 1. Programming languages. Python, with frameworks like Django or Flask. Ruby, with Ruby on Rails. PHP, with Laravel or Symfony. JavaScript, with Node.js and frameworks like Express.js. Java, with Spring Framework. Data storage and retrieval. 1. Relational databases. MySQL, used with various programming languages. PostgreSQL, used with various programming languages. Oracle, used with Java. 2. NoSQL databases. MongoDB, used with JavaScript/Node.js. Redis, used with various programming languages. Cassandra, used with Java. Business logic. 1. Programming languages. Python, Ruby, PHP, Java, JavaScript. External integrations. 1. Programming languages. Python, Ruby, PHP, Java, JavaScript. 2. API frameworks. Django REST Framework, Python. Ruby on Rails API, Ruby, Laravel, PHP, Express.js, JavaScript. Security and validation. 1. Programming languages. Python, Ruby, PHP, Java, JavaScript. 2. Security libraries and frameworks. Bcrypt, for password hashing. JWT, JSON Web Tokens. Libraries for authentication. OWASP libraries and guidelines. It's important to note that programming languages are not limited to specific tasks, and many languages can be used for various backend development tasks. The examples provided above are commonly used combinations, but there are other languages and frameworks available as well. Backend development is not restricted to a single programming language, and the choice of language depends on factors such as project requirements, team expertise, performance considerations, and ecosystem support. Let's consider an example of a social media application to understand the role of the backend in software development. In a social media application, the front-end, client-side, consists of the user interface that users interact with, such as posting updates, commenting, and liking posts. When a user interacts with the front end, such as submitting a new post or requesting to see their notifications, the front end sends a request to the back end. The back end receives these requests and performs various tasks. Here are a few examples. User authentication and authorization. When a user logs into the social media application, the backend verifies the user's credentials and checks if they have the necessary permissions to perform certain actions. It manages user accounts, stores hashed passwords, and handles the login, logout process. Data storage and retrieval. The backend is responsible for storing and retrieving data from a database. For instance, when a user submits a new post, the backend stores the post content, associated metadata, such as timestamp and user ID, and any other relevant information in a database. When a user requests to view their feed, the backend retrieves the relevant posts from the database and sends them back to the front end. Business logic. The backend implements the business rules and logic of the social media application. For example, it determines who can see a particular post based on the privacy settings, calculates the number of likes and comments on a post, and applies algorithms to generate personalized recommendations for users. External integrations. The backend may need to integrate with external services or APIs. For example, it could integrate with a payment gateway for in-app purchases or with a third-party service for sending email notifications. The backend handles the communication with these services and processes the responses. Security and validation. The backend ensures the security of the application. It validates the data received from the front end to prevent malicious or invalid inputs, implements measures like input sanitization to prevent attacks such as SQL injection, and encrypts sensitive information stored in the database. These are just a few examples of the responsibilities of the backend in a social media application. The backend code is executed on the server and is not visible to the end users. Its primary purpose is to handle the processing, storage, and management of data, as well as the implementation of the application's core functionality.